I'm going into this without a plan, really. It is, if I choose to upload this, it's going to be second channel, which the nature of the second channel revival is a lot of basically just rambling from me, because anything more than that requires actual planning and thought that I just simply do not have and would not be able to sustain. I know most directors' commentaries are kind of like, you kind of just let the video roll and then talk over it. I'm probably going to end up pausing a bunch and explaining some shit, because it takes me a while to find the words for what I actually want to express. Let's not drown ourselves in needless explanation, though. At the end of the day, I'm just going to talk about this video that I will say right now was hell to make, and I did not like making.
Deep and hard-hitting compared to every other form of popular media.
I'll say right now, I wish I spent more, well, maybe that's the incorrect term, wishing I spent more time on this, seeing as one of the biggest issues I had was spending too much time on this project that didn't deserve as much time as it took. But anyways, my complaint here is that the way that the images scroll across the screen isn't exactly what I envisioned in my head. It feels a little bit awkward and forced. Maybe the motion should have been more subtle. I definitely think when the screen, the panel itself, is moving along with the game cameras, it can create a almost nauseating effect, if not a bit confusing. The Undertale section in particular is annoying.
Change what I think is possible in art. Break
the motion's so fast.
Put me back up again and teach me to.
It moving to the right as Toriel and Frisk also move to the right, and then all of a sudden they're moving upwards, so the game window is scrolling the same direction as it's moving, so it kind of feels like it's hard to describe. I mean, you fucking see with your eyes, but the sudden stop in that motion feels awkward.
Alright. Or maybe it'd be meaningless. I don't really know how expensive your vocabulary is.
That subtle change there, I maybe should have made it less subtle, but I like this joke. I don't have a lot more to say about that. But I thought this was a pretty good bit. I wasn't sure for the longest time what I was gonna put here. I was a little hesitant to put this in here. If you follow this man on social media at all, you know that he's just a fucking weirdo. And I like that, which is why I follow him. This is not me putting him here because I want to, like, put shame or, like, ew, isn't this so weird, guys? Isn't this so uncouth and bad behavior? No. He's a freak, and I love that. I love freaks. I'm all about that. So I hope people didn't get the wrong idea there, even though, well, a lot of the time that implication is beneficial to me anyways. That probably doesn't make sense outside of my head. Whatever, it's one thing can be interpreted in multiple ways, and I can benefit from both interpretations. Or rather, the content itself can benefit from multiple interpretations. Finding the right balance of disgusting and shocking without being, like, uncomfortable was an interesting decision. I think I struck the right balance. I think I struck the right tone. I mean, I definitely overthink a lot of these things. Especially for what is essentially a sight gag. Most people didn't even bother to pause to read this, I'm sure, if they needed to pause. Some people read fast, I don't know.
This point and skip ahead a few steps.
I feel like that list could have been longer, but I was running out of things to type, and the nature of fast moving things is that you kind of need them to be really a lot longer than you'd expect. Scale is hard to deal with sometimes, but whatever. I think I did a good job with it, or fine enough job. That sound effect, I wasn't really sure. I felt like it was a little ham-fisted. I have a weird relationship with sound effects in general. I think the door open or close sound at the very beginning was fine. Added a little bit, but in general, I just don't feel like sound effects add much. I am always trying to add more to give a little bit more of a polished feel, but I often find myself burning out on adding sound effects. And I don't want to like go through my video looking for sound effects to add just for its own sake. So it ends up usually being this case where there'll be like a couple of sound effects here and there, but there'll just be a lot of silence as well that maybe there could have been sound effects. And I worry about that inconsistency bugging people. Of course, I have to remind myself that literally no one cares nearly as much as I do about these things. And, holy shit, two cakes or whatever, that whole mentality. But there's also the fact that people often don't understand why something is as good as it is inherently. They will be able to tell when something is right or wrong without understanding, oh, it's the specific sound design here that is off putting and making me feel weird about it. Good sound design, and this goes with a lot of design aspects, not just sound, is invisible to the common man, I guess you could say. But, I have limited time on this planet, so I cannot spend 3 years perfecting everything in a video that, once again, I did not enjoy making.
The number one priority is player engagement, which, depending on your morals, can be measured as either passionate, community-driven fun or man-hours spent in-game.
I don't really like this sentence, especially the part about the first part. I can't remember the specific words I said, but I don't like how I phrased it. It comes off as very pretentious. I don't know a lot about the games industry. I don't work in the games industry. I don't know people who do work in the game industry. If you aren't aware of how young I am, I have never worked in the game industry in the past. I have barely made a fucking project in Godot or Unity. So really thinking about monetization and engagement and shit, it's all fluff trying to bridge points. Really, this whole intro just feels like a lot of excuses to move on to the actual point. And I feel like that is a problem that comes up a lot with me. I won't really know how I want to connect 2 points, so I go off on this weird side tangent that doesn't actually have anything to do with the main point, just so I could loop it back around to the next point naturally. Or rather, it feels naturally flow-wise, but the actual contents of that bridge are like a complete aside to anything.
And as you'd expect, this leads to little
I worry sometimes that I put too many footnotes on screen that are annoying or hard to read that you have to fucking pause and go frame by frame for. This one especially is probably a little egregious.
In that second category, and
you cannot pause at one point and read all of it at once. Anyways, if you can't tell already, I'm an overthinker, a perfectionist. So whenever I feel that something that I wrote down or edited in isn't good enough, I feel like I have to put an asterisk on everything. Everything has to be clear. Everything has to be concise. I can't just like put something down that's like maybe a little hypocritical or untrue without being like, okay, no. This is how you should actually interpret this. I think at the end of the day, it's better if I keep doing that rather than leave potential mistakes. I don't often know what are mistakes that are huge and offensive and will upset people on account of my neurodivergencies. And it's better to live stress-free and like maybe kind of annoy people who have to read every text they see on screen.
Creativity and large derivativity.
I feel like I could have done this visual metaphor a little bit better. I mean, what it is in isolation is completely fine and passable. And that is a lesson that I was learning going through this video is I just have to be passable for a lot of this shit. I cannot spend any more time than I already am just to, again, prop up a video that I did not enjoy making. And I guess that kind of bridges a big point that a big point of why I wanted to make this video in particular compared to every other video. This video turned out well, but also I hated it for the exact same reason, and that is because after finishing the script, I stopped working on it for a while, and when I came back to it, I realized I had no passion for it whatsoever. And instead of scrapping it, I decided that the best course of action would to prop it up with really good editing, which just prolonged the amount of time that I had to spend with this video that I didn't like. The reason why I didn't like the script is because Apex Legends is just not that important to me. I played it a lot for a period of my life, and then I wrote the script and forgot about it for so long, or not necessarily forgot about it, but got caught up in other things for so long. I just did not care. I could not give a shit about any of this. While making this video, while actually assembling it, I had not played Apex Legends for months. For fucking months. For any reason other than to just get footage for this video. I did not play it to enjoy myself for months. I was not thinking about Apex Legends for months. This whole video was made because when I wrote the script, all I was capable of mentally was hanging out with friends, and I felt guilty for not making more videos. So I wrote a script for a video that I could make. The one thing that I felt I could make that was interesting enough to be a video was this. It was a compromise. A compromise with an upload schedule that never existed in the first place.
You know, the thing that people care about Fortnite for was just...
That little tilt adds so much. I'm gonna be honest. I'm so glad I decided to do that. Stupidly enough, I got that idea to do that little animation thing from absolute slop second channel video shit from a Minecraft YouTuber, which, hi, I'm also doing second channel slops. I understand. It's a thing. It's a cool thing to do, to be honest. Anyways, it was a fucking 2 second, it was a fucking 2-frame animation. Who gives a shit? That doesn't require 5 minutes of talking.
Minecraft with guns deal, but because they...
I should have animated everything that was hand-drawn by me in this video. That is a little inconsistency that is bothering me. A lot of the things that were hand-drawn are animated to have that little like twitchy doodly effect, but not everything. And I regret not doing that because it would have taken me like 2 seconds to just copy-paste the effect over here. Also, that 2011 is too close to the edge of the border, but that's mostly just a fucking... Actually, now that I look at it, it's all kind of trending a little lower than I want it to, but OCD shit. We don't gotta worry about it.
Their best to make their own battle royale. We're far enough removed from the BR hype train now.
That was annoying as hell to make, but I don't regret it. The fucking falling animation. That's another thing about sound effects. I was totally planning on adding like a fucking thump sound effect or like little whooshes as they fall down or individual thuds or anything like that, but it was just silent here. And I don't know if that's better or worse. And while I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of little mouth noises in this video, and it pisses me the fuck off. I make a lot of mouth noises. That's the gist of it, and it's so annoying. I don't know how to do it less, and it's really tedious to get rid of them. Mostly because it's hard to catch them in the first place, and once you find them, it can be inconsistent at best with my current skill set to remove them. I wish recording my own voice was a little more consistent, but so it goes.
Now that the dust is settled and only the biggest, most successful battle royales are still standing, approximately 4 of them as far as I can tell. Of course, we have PUBG, the original.
That whole sign on the bottom about how this may be entirely wrong. Yeah, this whole, that's what I was saying earlier, this whole intro about fucking different battle royales or whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. It does not fucking matter. The context doesn't fucking matter. I do think parts of it is interesting, like how Fortnite was supposed to be one thing and then PUBG got popular and then they're like, oh, we gotta make a BR. Fucking Fortnite, that's a thing we already have. Let's make this into a BR. And then it blew up. Because it was PUBG but free to play. And that's why everyone got into it. Because everybody wanted to play PUBG, but they didn't have money. But Fortnite was free, and it was close enough. That part I find interesting. But this whole intro is just an excuse to say, okay, so Apex is a battle royale that is maybe special compared to the other ones. Which I could have just said that. In fact, like, the whole point of this video is to try to justify that. So we don't need to, like, ease into it, you know? Whatever, let's move on. I'm not a researcher. These numbers are so wishy-washy. I just need to give any sort of frame of reference. Research is just something that I am not good at and don't really have the interest to be good at. I make videos about my own opinions for a reason.
It had hardly any advertising early on either.
That's hardly any advertising early on. That I didn't do research about that. One friend told me it was true, and that was good enough for me. Again, this whole intro was just fucking fluff. It's just fluff.
Each of their booms, and while I respected what they had to offer,
I said "and" at the beginning of at the end of one take, and then I said it again at the beginning of the other take, and those were the good takes. I didn't have other good takes, and I could not find a way to cut it to only have one and have it sound natural. I hate it. It bugs me. So I have to shout that out to the world. I mean, technically you could put Terraria in that list of multiplayer games. About half of that playtime I want to say is multiplayer, but whatever. I mean, Risk of Rain 2 definitely has some multiplayer in there as well. Really beside the point, though. Deep Rock is, I think I highlighted it as a multiplayer game, but I also played a lot solo. Whatever. Anyways, no one pointed out Chicken Shoot 400 hours. Funny. I don't like this video anymore. I don't like Dead by Daylight. I haven't played it. It's very similar to this video, the Apex video, in that I was already burning out on it by the time I was making that video. And me forcing myself to engage with a game that I was burnt out on turned that burnout into me just never touching it again. Especially considering a lot of the problems I had with it. I'm just realizing I didn't do the best job with this drawing, but it's fucking whatever. That's besides the point. This whole Dead by Daylight's kind of an aside. I'm a rambler. It's okay. Dead by Daylight, after taking a break from it, oh god, it is a flawed game, and it probably should have been part of the Red Banner series in retrospect. Definitely should have in retrospect, but whatever. It is what it is. I don't know if that video is going to stay up public on my main channel forever. It has people in it that don't necessarily want to have their face shown anymore. And I am not super proud of some of the points I made, especially about me enjoying being toxic. That is no longer true and hasn't been true for a bit now. I think that was released in, 2021, 2022, this video? No later than 2022, because I moved after that. I mean, it should go without saying, as you mature, fucking toxic tendencies kind of get resolved or whatever. But, I don't know, I feel like there was a lot of cope in that video that I haven't watched it in a long time, for the record. But, whatever, I have mixed feelings about it. My hair here looks really fucked up, and I don't know why. Like, there's strands. Like there's just a separation here. Like, these just strands that just are there, and I don't know why. Funny 3 empty album slots. Also, a lot of people commented on me being a Tyler fan, which was annoying because I don't see myself as a Tyler fan. These are just the albums that I knew I liked when I went into the store that sold these already pre-made. That store still exists. I'm probably gonna get more if I can. It's gonna be a fucking challenge to find 8. I've listened to a lot more albums since then, since this video, or since I made this decor. But the thing is the albums I like aren't gonna be the ones that are pre-made in that store. I'm probably gonna have to compromise and get things that I wouldn't necessarily call defining for me. Realistically, the only one of these that I would say is kind of defining for me is American Idiot. But Kid A and Igor are all just really fucking good albums that I'm okay with having up there just because of how good they are. Rush 2112 is a great song. It's a kind of a shitty album, because the B-side is just bad filler songs. Also, while we're on the topic, Persona 5 poster. I didn't ever finish Persona 5. Literally all of my time in Persona 5 was a single week when Persona 5 Royal first came out. I binged it up to... I finished the 4th palace. I was like, wow, this is unhealthy. I put 50 hours into this game in a week. I'm going to take a break for a little bit. And then I never went back. And as years have passed, I've just been wanting to go back to it less and less. So I feel like a lot of this has to be updated, but... Oh, by the way, that orange sticky note on the desk says balls, because it's funny. My hair is so shiny, but it's just naturally like that. But it kind of looks like it's greasy, especially with compression. You can see, yeah, here, with this close-up, my hair is, like, fine. Like, I showered before this. Okay, I don't take care of myself, but I take care of myself when I know I'm going to be on camera, you know? My stupid fucking crop top that is cropped so it looks like I'm just not wearing pants is awesome. I'm wearing headphones here, playing white noise, because I cannot... It feels really awkward to stand in a room by yourself and talk, especially when you have roommates and neighbors. So I just crank up really loud white noise to make myself talk louder.
I'm trans.
I'm sorry, I got worried about that, but then the comments showed me that it was absolutely the correct decision. So that's cool. You can kind of hear it there. I stumble over my words a lot. You could probably tell based off of watching this, but this is very off the cuff. When I'm trying to say specific words based off of what a script says, bleh, I beat myself up about my voiceover a lot. I also struggle a lot to like re-record I want to record... Okay. It's very hard to get audio sounding the exact same when they're taken at different times. You could use the exact same microphone in the exact same room, try your best to be the exact same distance away, and try to have the same levels. It's always going to sound like a little bit off. So when you swap between sentences, it's noticeable. I don't know if it's annoying for most people, but it's really noticeable for me. So when I'm recording the voiceover, I try to do like entire chunks at once in one sitting where I know there will be no breaks or whatever. And then once I get to what I know is a break, then like in the editing or whatever, a sort of editing break that would make sense for my voice to change, or there's at least enough of a period where I'm not talking where you won't hear an immediate change. Of course, this means that if there's any sort of mistakes, like I thought I had a good take, but I didn't have a good enough take, or I didn't realize I fumbled over my words, or I was like rubbing my leg or something without realizing it, or there's a bump in the background that I didn't hear because I'm wearing headphones, I gotta deal with it. Either that, or I re-record the line and make it sound terrible in a different way. Audio is hell.
Damn, I really look like that?
Okay, so that comment was, I was not feeling... Hey, I'm trans. I have dysphoria sometimes. I looked at that and was not feeling great about how I looked, especially since there was like months between recording the... Okay, so I wrote the script. I really rushed through the last bits of the script, especially like the on-camera parts. because I knew my roommate was going to be gone for a period. And I was like, okay, I want to make sure I could record these without a roommate being nearby. So I got those recordings done like when I was first writing the script in like what fucking 2023 or whatever it was that I started writing the script. Fucking forever ago, anyways. And then it was like months before I actually sat down and did the voiceover part. And I watched this back to know what I was transitioning from in the video or whatever. And, you know, I just did not like how I looked. So I had to throw that in there to punish myself for fucking whatever, because I'm a dumbass. I'm 36 minutes into this recording, and we are 5 minutes into the video. Jesus Christ, I'm a yapper. This is not a complete lie, but it's a lie. I have played more than just that on Switch in the past 5 years, and PS4, in fact. Bloodborne smile. But who cares? It doesn't. It's a bit. It's a joke.
Fears, and none of those were through a different game launcher on PC.
It's a joke to prove a point.
Ignore the fact that I played Fortnite through the Epic Games launcher back in 2017. I'm a changed person, I swear.
I had to throw that in there because I realized I contradicted myself. That was an awkward line, but fucking whatever. I didn't know how else to deal with it. I wasn't going to rewrite that bit, so whatever. I don't like how I did this. It's very messy. You kind of have to really be looking at it to understand what's going on here. It's like, what am I looking at, right? Okay, Propeller Duck, that's the channel I'm watching. Is at the top. Ash 26 kills. Okay, Corrupt Luminous. I don't know who that is or what that is. But that's where this username is here. So I'm guessing this is someone else. And wow, that's higher stats. And then, okay, this one has higher stats, but not like actually that crazy. Like 6 season 7 wins isn't that many. I mean, top 40%, sure, but that's not crazy good. This right here, especially this one, I thought the stats would be better than they were. But this whole bit just feels unnecessary, or just something else should have been here, or that's why I put that asterisk on screen, that it kind of sucks. I was just trying to put something on screen to back up what I was saying, and I don't like what I did.
Firmly into my teens.
Oh yeah, the Call of Duty M rating thing was going to be a bit more of a bit, but I never ended up adding it. Ooh, my parents were strict or whatever. Whoa, I made some joke about how other parents need to fucking pay more attention, but like, who cares? Okay, so the Apex Legends videos that were on that channel weren't very good videos, and it actually was kind of hard to find clips that actually contributed this point of okay, I found friends that are goofy and stupid and like doing dumb shit. But I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit harsh. There's a big difference in acceptability in Ballad of the Turbulently Sluice versus my main channel. The fucking can stuff and the coughing, I was like, I don't want to put this in my main channel. That's like gross and off-putting. But it's in there, and these are like the only clips I can get from these, and I literally cannot force these interactions to happen, and I can't just like sit here and play hours and hours until they happen naturally. That's a lot of these footage clips don't really line up right, because I wasn't recording my footage until after I already written the script, or after I already finalized what I wanted the video to look like in my head with all the edits and whatever in the timeline. And then I had the task after all of that was finished of trying to force clips to happen. And that is hell. And that's another reason why this video sucks so much. I had so much footage that I had to go through to find there's so much footage, but at the same time, not enough footage, because it was a struggle to find what I needed, because the stuff I needed didn't happen naturally while I happened to be recording. But it was so much footage because you need to record so fucking much to get all these specific things happening. Trying to show specific things happening in a game where you cannot control the things that are happening is fucking hell. I never want to make a video on a multiplayer game again, and I'm so fucking serious. At least with like other games, there's like modding tools you could use to kind of fake the footage. You could like play with bots in Team Fortress 2 and custom maps or whatever. In Apex, there's no sort of support like that. At best, you could run around training room with your friends. And I did that quite a bit, in fact. But oh my fucking god. Apex is so rigid with what you're allowed to do with the game itself. You can play the game as intended, and that's it. No modding, no tools. You can't even wander the map in single player. You cannot start a private server. You can't do shit. You can't do shit with Apex. It's so terrible for video creation. Anyways, so there's Lightning McQueen on my shirt here because the person I was in call with while I was drawing this said I should put Lightning McQueen there. I was like, yeah, that's funny. So I did that. Perspective is so fucked here. I'm not good at drawing. This took me like 2-3 hours to draw this, and it really shouldn't have, because my own bar is so fucking high for something that I am not really that committed to. I don't know why I insist on using drawing as a part of my editing style, but it's not something that I feel passionate about. Why am I like this? Okay, it was really hard to get everybody to record at the same time. Schedules for my friend group are like really fucking weird, and people don't like Apex and uninstall it constantly. This was originally supposed to be Fuse and Octane. Fuse where Mad Maggie is, and they were supposed to both go off screen and both come back on. I forgot about that while we were recording this, so this is the footage we are getting. So this is the version of reality we live in.
I can't track for shit, so anything that's full auto might as well just not exist to me. Wow.
That was not a hard clip to get. The part where I suck ass at tracking, I truly mean it. I'm fucking terrible. I am such a bad aimer. I cannot aim for fucking piss shit. It's hilarious. I'm bad at this game that I'm talking so much about. I'm terrible at it. This background is bitrate hell. It's a static image, and somehow it still gets compressed to shit. And I don't know why I expected any different. It's a carpet. But whatever. I don't know how I feel about this edit. I use a very similar technique elsewhere. I feel like the legibility is really poor, but I wanted this quote on screen and it emphasizes it. I don't know how else I would do this other than just plain white text. I probably should have just done that in retrospect, but
Running through my
whatever.
head.
My friends got a kick out of the can replay gun run instead. It's so true.
They tend to focus on the binary outcome of their one-on-one deathmatches instead of the broader circumstances and choices leading up to and during the deathmatches that gave either player certain advantages.
I'm really proud of that segment. Okay, look, I hate this video, but I did put a lot of effort into it, and some parts turned out really well, and I think that's one of them. I don't know if many people caught that, but when the reverse sound is playing, with the fucking tape stop or whatever, I reversed the music in the background as well. And it starts playing again. The fucking little sound effects all come together really well. This is a good fucking segment. It proves a really good point. I did a good job here, and I'm proud of it. Probably could have said something about how new players get bogged down in like the whole fucking inventory choices stuff when they're landing. They land, they don't know what loot they're even supposed to be looking for. Even though I make a point about how it's easy. It is easier than a lot of other battle royales because it's all strict upgrades. But I mean, you can fucking an experienced player can look at a randomly generated pile of loot on the ground and know in 0.05 seconds what attachments go on the gun they're currently holding, and they fucking flick their camera around, fucking run forward off to the next point. They still need to stop and look at each individual piece. They need to look at every individual thing in the fucking thing. And that, like, takes a while, you know? And they don't have the confidence to hot drop. They drop, pick up a gun that they probably are really unfamiliar with, and because they're overwhelmed, aren't paying attention to what's around them, and they get shot and die. So their options are hot drop and die immediately and wait for respawning just to do that all over again, or land on the edge of the map, spend what feels like a really long time looting, and then running to nowhere. I could have brought that up, but I didn't. It's okay.
The guns.
I feel like I could have done that zoom in a little bit better. So this segment here, I did not want to install new games, and I was just using games I already had installed. I don't play a lot of FPS games, but it needed to be all the same gun type. I chose AK-47, which I don't think was a wrong choice. I just was restricting myself by not installing new games. And so this footage is maybe not the best I could have chosen, but whatever. The modded Left 4 Dead, at the very least, is funny. I use fucking Banana Shooter, of all things. That clip isn't mine. It is from a friend. And the top left is a Gmod clip of me running around the map with no one around, obviously, because it's a single-player Gmod server.
Take, for example, the LMGs, the basic characteristics of...
This part, I am so fucking proud of. The way that shit comes in, the song that I chose, just the way that everything worked. I spent so fucking long on this segment, but it's like, it's fucking candy. It's so good. Okay, what I'm saying or whatever, who fucking cares? Just the way everything is designed visually is fucking art. I was so happy with this.
One being generally having a large magazine size.
One thing that I wish I could have figured out how to do is have the shapes in the background also animated. But the way that I animate the squigglies in this is just turbulent displace in Premiere Pro with altering the seed, because seeds... I'm not going to get bogged down in the details of how fucking Premiere Pro works. You guys aren't editing nerds. But basically, by moving the objects around the screen, it's like the effect generates waviness in whatever you apply it to. But by moving around, the waves don't stick in place. It's like a filter on top of everything. So if you move these squares, the waves will appear, or rather the squares will look like they're waving around as they move across the screen, when the desired effect is to be like swapping every 15 frames or something to look like it's loosely animated. I feel like I needed to up the bitrate here or something, because on playback it looks
fire rate of all full,
like, especially around the edges of the shapes, there's like artifacting for some reason. There should be no aliasing on the shapes. There shouldn't be a border there whatsoever. But rendering things is fucking weird and stupid, so it is what it is. I could have done better on this segment. Why am I like this? Who knows? But you could see the border of the footage. I pointed at my screen as if you could see where I'm pointing. Like, it's just completely square where the footage is. I kind of wish there was it had a squiggly border that cut into the footage a little bit. Like, it's actually inset into this whole squiggly design thing I've got going on, instead of just place in a convenient spot on top of it.
Alternate fire mode, which I've never seen anyone use.
There's a reason for that. In older seasons, there was a hop-up that was something or other, and I knew that, but I wasn't gonna fucking bring it up just for... I didn't want to rewrite shit, basically, so it is what it is. You could see what I was talking about earlier with the waviness as they come in. Like, if you look at it, like, around here where the fire rate text comes in, you'll see as it comes in, it's like wobbly. I'm so lucky that the akimbos didn't change my point there. There's a lot of things in this game that changed that could have forced a rewrite, but thankfully just barely skirted around it. There's like, 2 or 3 major fucking updates as I was making this video, and I got very lucky that things didn't change in a way that broke what I had.
So, of the 29 guns in the game, there's only like 3 at best that feel redundant. The variety is honestly incredible, and they fit into and encourage so many different styles.
Audio bouncing is hard, and I don't understand how you're supposed to do it properly. I should learn, but it's kind of off here.
To play, there's almost no wrong answers.
That jump scare flashing a fucking other thing on screen really fast is a little bit obnoxious, but it's okay. We used this clip, by the way, already in this video.
Is always better than blue, is always better than gray, is always better than nothing.
always having this descending is a little bit annoying for me. It should have been ascending. So it goes gray, blue, purple, gold. But whatever. It flowed naturally when I was writing it, so that's what we were stuck with for the editing side. You'd think that I would have good sniping footage. Because, yes, I suck at tracking. I genuinely do hit some fucking good shots with sniping sometimes. The thing about sniping footage is it's fucking boring. You will be sitting there for fucking 2 minutes, then you take one shot, and then you miss a couple times, and then nothing happens for a little bit. But it feels good in the moment. But that doesn't make it good for putting it into a video. And also, I didn't have a lot of sniping footage in the first place. Annoying, but whatever. I am good at sniping sometimes. A little bit inconsistent in performance, but I don't necessarily think I showed that very well in this video.
Universally, there is very little you can do to counter a good sniper.
People who don't play Team Fortress 2 don't understand how apt it is to use Team Fortress 2 footage there. I'm not going to elaborate on that. I should have used a different background track here for the record. I knew it wasn't very good, and I don't know why I didn't change it.
Secondly, Apex Legends has a longer time to kill than a lot of other games.
The patch that dropped either immediately before or immediately after this video went live, I can't remember, universally boosted damage numbers and lowered the effectiveness of shields to shorten the kill time to make it compete with competitors who have faster kill times. Which is fun, I guess. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a bad decision, but, well, that kind of makes this point a little less impactful, and does also increase a point that I made later about how they're just trying to chase what's fucking trendulous.
Who gets shot by a sniper is likely to do everything they can to prevent getting shot.
When that Pathfinder ran away while I was getting that footage, I was so excited because I knew it was perfect for this video. Because I wasn't playing for fun, I was playing for the footage.
There's otherwise a huge skill gap between the person shooting and the shootee.
That clip is fucking ridiculous. I don't know what was happening there. It was just like a fucking clown car into my crosshair. It is hilarious. I don't know. I love that clip so much. I don't know where it went now. Oh god. This clip is not very accurate to what I was saying, but as I said earlier, getting relevant footage is hard when you're looking for very specific. There's just some inaccurate clips, and that's just how it is. It's hard. It's hard. It's so hard. It's so hard.
But in my 350 hours...
Don't know why I included the bit with the fucking typing to look up my own hours. It's kind of nothing. The audio I chose is compressed as hell and a little too quiet. It's just -2, whatever. Nothing bit. More of a nothing bit than a -2, but whatever.
My video, so I get to control the narrative, and
I like that bit. I really like that bit. That was going to be Peacekeeper originally, but I picked up the charge rifle and was like, oh wait, this shit's meaty. I spend so long thinking about how bad this weapon is that I forget that it sounds good. This footage that's playing in the background, this clip was so long, and by the nature of what it is, you can't really cut it down. I do think I did cut at some point, but the whole point is that you could track in 3D space, but that takes time, and this is a video. People don't want to fucking sit here for like 90 seconds listening to a guy run around a building. The footage that I did get here did demonstrate the point better, for the record, than just, oh, you could hear them on the left and on the right. You could hear, like, they went up, they went down, they're climbing, they're fucking whatever. It did a really good job of showing you will know exactly where, like, you know what's happening even if you don't see them, but I had to cut out most of it. I just had to, for the sake of watchability. I'm so glad that I had this footage. The fucking hearing something and then looking over to look at it is so perfect. That wasn't planned. This footage was taken for Ballad of the Terminated Sleuths, the Let's Play thing. We were just having fun here. Finding that, I was like, oh my god, this is perfect. Sometimes when you're sometimes there's magical moments like that when you're editing where something just fucking works and it's accidentally the most beautiful thing in the video. This clip was hell to get because those are bots. This map wasn't a good example, but I didn't want to fucking sneak around in solo play because you cannot free explore, or in solo queue, because you have to play the game and you can't free explore maps. Both trying to find an obscure location while avoiding gunfire and also the ring, because the ring also makes noise. Just getting this fucking 2-second clip was so hard. And literally 1 frame after this clip ends, the bots walk into the lava and start taking damage, rendering the audio unusable.
Made up of ambience that you haven't heard before because you're in a rarely treaded area.
Which you may notice there was like 2 seconds of footage there, or of audio playing. It was hell. I wanted to have sounds that could actually be confused for an ability. Those 2 seconds of lava was genuinely the best I could do with what I had available to me, unless I wanted to spend hours solo queuing.
Almost always know when an ability that affects you.
I don't know if the bamboozled thing with the almost was too subtle if you're not familiar with the game, especially since as it comes in, it's at its larger size, and you don't really notice that it is supposed to be the focus until it's already faded away back to its normal size. That's just a small little thing, though.
Up to 100 flat.
Saying 100 flat there doesn't really make sense unless you already knew that the maximum was 125 before that patch, which this segment is for people who don't know these things, so maybe a little bit of a odd decision, but whatever.
Hating a self-revive.
So that one with the buzzer was the first thing that I had to change about the video because of an update, which is why it's a little bit different. It's not just a footnote or me cutting in with my voice, it's like a joke, because it was the first time it happened, and I thought that it would be the last time it happened. I don't know if the buzzer's a little bit obnoxious there. Sorry if it is. Moving on. If Twitter wasn't actively dying, I was planning on using tweets here, but I think I already deleted, or purged rather, my Twitter account at this point, and I just did not feel it was worth going on there in the first place. And the Steam reviews were right there, and they did a fine enough job with proving this point. I could have used more maybe, but I mean, it takes fucking time, you know? It just takes time when, like, 4 is a good enough number, like, it proves the point enough. This isn't like, it's enough to show that I'm not making it up, and that's all it really needed it to be.
Since you could always just, aim.
It actually would have been much better for the point if I had a clip of me donking on someone that was moving, or trying to schmoove on me. And it's not like I've never done that before. It's just, I did not want to farm specific interactions for hours and hours and hours of my life when I don't enjoy playing the video game.
Find a kit that fits alongside how you like to play the game.
One point that I could make here about gathering footage for this game, which I kind of already said in a way, things feel different in game than they feel watching them as I'm trying to explain a point or whatever. As I was playing this, it feels like, oh my god, so much is happening around me at once. But watching it back, all you see is explosion goes off, and then I start looting a body. Or I guess I didn't loot it, but I used an ability. It looks like maybe 3 abilities are going on in isolation when you're like watching it as a part of a video, especially when I'm trying to explain. So this is an example of abilities or whatever. It feels different than it looks. So it's hard to find stuff that looks the same way as what I'm describing it feels like. Oh, this clip I also used like multiple times in this video for the record.
Open doors or closed doors.
So the closing the door, metaphorically, of course, bit, I wasn't planning on having me literally busting down a door until I seen it as like, oh, that's kind of perfect for what I'm saying here. But then it's kind of like this double It what was meant to be a joke all of a sudden turned into like two literal examples, and I felt like, well, this is kind of like we're getting lost in the sauce here. So I hope putting metaphorically, of course, there brought it back to what its original intention was. I'm not entirely sure if it succeeded, but whatever. I wrote that part of the script in season 18. And that's why I used season 18 here. But this video came out in season 23, seasons after, and I looked through the pick rates, and it wasn't true for the newer seasons. This whole statement was true when I wrote it, but it was not true when I published it, but I had to make it seem like it was still true by using the old evidence that was true when I wrote it. Don't feel amazing about that, but I did not have the time or energy to restructure this entire segment and re-record it just to be accurate, or more accurate, I should say. I also reused this clip. As you can see, that is a Final Fantasy VII Buster Sword on the horizon that is going to get cut away from. But I use it to point out that the events are stupid. The Final Fantasy VII event, which they brought back for the second part of the Final Fantasy VII remake, was fucking terrible. Horrible event that was terribly balanced. But whatever. You'd think I'd have footage of me using it in an interesting way as I'm describing about how interesting it is. Exactly. The text on screen already says it, but I'm emphasizing it because it pisses me off so much I literally have 0 fucking examples of this thing I'm talking about.
And for the next 10 seconds or so, that person takes 15% extra.
I don't know why I said or so. It's a fucking flat number. It's a flat number. I could have just double checked the wiki and given you the exact number, but I said 10 seconds or so. What fucking whatever.
Because your alt is fully kitted with attachments by default, you don't...
Well, fully kitted is kind of a lie. This is semantics at this point, but it's its own weapon that is completely unique to her. It cannot take attachments. It just is the way that it is. So this clip here, for basically up until I recorded this bit, which was very, very close to the end of the production cycle, I had no idea what was going to be there. I wanted something to be there to indicate we're in bitching mode now. It is a sudden switch, fucking like a fucking CinemaSins ding sound. Ding! We're in bitching mode now. Out of fucking nowhere. Because I thought that'd be a funny transition, and I think it still is, and I think this worked out fine. I think the concept's good enough. The execution's kind of poor. The lighting in my room is terrible. This is a flashlight pointed at the door. Can you tell from this halo that's here? Because I only have one light source otherwise. My writing here is a little thin. I didn't want to make a lot of noise, so I was very gentle about it. And I also didn't want to reveal my house or have to have myself on screen at all, really. So I was hiding behind the door. Oh my god, there's still 20 minutes left of this. No one mentioned the Mario Party 8 thing, and I'm kind of upset about that, to be honest. These two skins are special, actually, because I deleted the tweet. Obviously, I deleted the tweet. I deleted all my tweets. But when I was first getting back into Apex, I didn't have this video in mind whatsoever. This was a design problem that I noticed like immediately, and it was these two specific skins that I made a rage tweet about to point out how stupid it is. So there's a bit of a background history here. This point is almost the progenitor to this entire video. Not quite. This issue is not why I made the video, but it is like one of the first things I thought in depth about Apex. This again, really poor legibility. There's just way too much contrast in the background for this to be legible in the first place. Even when it's completely black, the black parts, the faded parts, completely black, it's hard to read. But I don't know why I didn't do fully black, because having it partially there, it is upsetting. I don't know why I did this for a second time. I was unsure of it the first time. I don't know why I did it again.
Lost media? So, once every 2 to 4 weeks or so.
That joke does suck. But one of my friends said that was the funniest part of the whole video, and I don't know how to feel about that.
That much what character you pick, right? Well, I lied for the sake of flow and pacing.
That footage that Franz sent me, the stuff that I didn't use, was really fucking funny, but it didn't quite fit. And I don't think anyone else thought that bit was anything. By the way, that was recorded in like 240p or something, or it got compressed to 240p, something like that. But because of the footage that I have, that only I have seen, I think that bit is hilarious. And I just want to put that out there, that Franz is a hilarious fucking dude, and I'm really appreciate having him for this stuff.
Just with
oh look, another reused clip. Oh, that's actually this is 2 clips back to back that I have already used earlier in the video. That's awesome. I probably could have chose better examples. Team Fortress 2's tier list isn't actually really relevant. I mean, I guess because of the way classes are in that game, it kind of just is like that. The classes weren't meant to be... I mean, Team Fortress 2 classes aren't like Overwatch or other hero shooters like that, like fucking Marvel Rivals or whatever, where you could have like multiple different support characters can fill the same type of support or whatever. Team Fortress 2 isn't like that. Every character has its explicit purpose. It's just those explicit purposes... Well, I guess they're not explicit purposes so much as unique purposes. Unique strengths would be a better way of putting it. Team Fortress 2 is a bad example there because each character has strengths specific to them, and the reason why some characters are stronger than others is because their strengths apply to more general situations in competitive play specifically. Team Fortress 2 was never meant to be balanced so all characters had equal viability in competitive spaces. In fact, the vast majority of people do not play Team Fortress 2 competitively. And the people who do, the competitive meta is so set in stone at this point, at the very least in terms of classes, that it's just stupid to even argue about it. It's 2 scouts, 2 soldiers, a demo, and a medic on both teams. And like there will be some swaps based off of context, you know? Dead by Daylight I put there because it was a game that I did play that was poorly balanced, relevant enough, whatever. And then I have 2 fighting games. I really, really didn't want to have just fighting game examples, even though that's would have been the easiest. I don't play Melee, but Melee is an old-ass game, so I knew that opinions were developed enough that I could put that there without people getting mad at me. And Guilty Gear Xrd is a game I do play, and I liked this tier list the most, the ones that were on Dustloop, even though Dustloop specifically says to not use the tier list to try to definitively prove anything. Smile. Look, I don't play competitive games. It's just not something I do. You don't get tier lists that mean anything out of games that aren't taken seriously, you know? Like, if you try to make a tier list of Deep Rock Galactic fucking driller weapons, no one's gonna care, and there's not really anything that backs up most of the things being placed where they are, other than how you feel about them personally. Which, I don't know, I probably just have way too much integrity for a visual indicator of what I'm saying with my words. The actual contents of these tier lists don't matter. All that mattered was there were tier lists of different games that exist, you know? Whatever. This is a long stretch without anything on screen that I don't really like. Oh, that's another thing I could complain about Apex not letting you modify things. You can't, like, go back to an older season to see what it was like. And trying to find footage of older shit, I mean, you just have to steal from people on YouTube, and I really, really, really do not want to fucking, first of all, find footage from a very specific 3-month span of a game's lifespan that has specific characters in it, from both an attacker and player's from the player playing the character and also shooting the character I'm talking about. I also just don't like stealing footage from other people. So, whatever. The trailer was fine enough for what it is.
Death and player expression. You know what, though? Let's calm down.
So, that deep breath in doesn't really make sense based off of how I ended up saying the words that I wrote down. Because as I was reading the script, I didn't remember that I was supposed to be escalating my anger at this point. So I kind of just sound mildly annoyed, and all of a sudden have to go, calm down, when it didn't feel like there was much to calm down from in the first place. Another slight annoyance that perfectionism, whatever, fucking... Hi. Awesome mouse in the center of the fucking screen, by the way, jackass. I mean, I fucking... Whatever, it's random fucking footage I pulled. It's not like I was trying to set up a loot box opening. I wasn't buying loot boxes to show off loot boxes in this game, but it's funny. Okay, you get a little cursor here. A little bit of cursor action.
And voice quips for characters that only play conditionally, like after you get a kill.
So that's what fear smells like isn't the worst voice line I could have chosen, but it is an inside joke. And jokes that only I would find funny are the best kinds of jokes to put into videos.
Personality to the characters, and by extension,
Isn't it so cool how when you have an unstable internet connection, your fucking inspect animations are laggy? Because that's tied to the fucking server for some reason.
Real money.
That camera shot fucking sucks. It's so zoomed in. It's so zoomed in. It's so zoomed in. This isn't what I had in mind when I did this. It just feels so pointless and weird. And why is this here? Why is this clip of super zoomed in dropping money on a fucking bedsheet here? Because I wrote down that I wanted to put something like this here, and I can't not do that. You know? This interjection is so goddamn long. It's so goddamn long. It's such a pace breaker. But, like, I couldn't really cut it down any more than I did. I had to... maybe I over-explained some of the things in there, but, like, you know, all this information is relevant to the point, and I didn't want to leave any of it out. But god damn, this is a long interjection. This was not planned, finding this hollow spray, but I seen it and realized it was too perfect. Not because call to actions are cool or fun to do. In fact, it feels a little bit grimy to do it. That's why I don't typically. But I do think it's funny to include this. I thought this was hilarious. Something that, I don't know, this is probably something only I find funny, but I think calls to action can be really funny if they're done in a stupid enough way. I know a lot of people will, like, whenever you could, like, name your character in a video game or whatever, any type of custom text, they love putting, oh, subscribe, like and subscribe in that text box in a subtle way, and that annoys me. So this would probably annoy me if I didn't make it, but this was a coincidence that happened to line up. I put it in there. I thought it's funny.
But I've genuinely been more inclined to play Apex over Team Fortress 2.
It's also just I'm kind of burnt out on TF2 after playing it for like 7 years, 8 years at this point, something like that. And I've kind of plateaued with my skill level on the things I care about. And trying to branch out makes me feel frustrated more than anything because I feel like I'm really underperforming and things aren't clicking. And it's not fun to suck shit at something, believe it or not. Especially when what you're missing is typically mechanical skills that you have to grind out. I explained it in this video, but I don't like grinding out mechanical skills like that. I mean, I enjoy the process of noticing my mistakes and improving upon them, making new game plans based around the mistakes I made in the past or whatever. I'm not a grinder. I really am not a grinder, you know? I don't get satisfaction from doing the same tedious thing over and over again to see slow progress. I don't care about being good at video games. Anyways, I'm burnt out on Team Fortress 2. That was that whole point. I really just haven't played it much. I played like a few hours. I didn't completely drop it after I made the Team Fortress 2 video, but I have played it significantly less since making that Team Fortress 2 video. Very similar story to the Dead by Daylight video, and now the Apex Legend video. Crazy. It's something about working on a video about a video game that makes you burnt out on that video game. It's like if you fucking turn your brain upside down and shake it for all of its opinions and thoughts about a specific subject, it doesn't want to keep thinking about that specific subject. I wish I could find stat trackers for myself for other games, but I guess privacy settings by default for those kind of stat trackers are like privatized or whatever, or games that I used to play like years ago had like systems changed or whatever that made it hard to keep stats tracked or whatever. Rainbow Six Siege was a game that I played for like a couple hours in high school, and I managed to have a 0.17 KD, and that would have been hilarious to put in the video, but the stat trackers couldn't find me, so it is what it is. Replacing trios with Ps is one of my favorite jokes I've made. I'm gonna be honest, it's so fucking stupid. I love it. Replace trios with Ps. Just the call that I had when I came up with that was, or I don't even remember if I was the one who came up with it, but it's I find it fucking hilarious. No one even mentioned it other than the person who came up with it with me. I love that joke so much. Replace trios with Ps.
Right? Right?
So fun fact, I was supposed to have a big toothy grin there, but I had a tooth removed like a week before I shot that video, and I wasn't gonna wait until my like another couple weeks before my retainer was in. It was actually probably more like whatever. The point is, I was missing a tooth on the side that the camera was on, so I didn't open my mouth, but it ended up okay. I just think it's funny that I secretly am missing a tooth in that shot.
I was really wanting to get back to the... Oh, for fuck's sake.
I just want to mention that I'm really proud of what I did with the music here. Swapping between 3 different versions of the same song. Like there's the not in combat version, there's the recently in combat version, and there's the active combat version of that song that I'm just swapping between to reflect the emotion levels. And I think it turned out really good, and I like it. Thumbs up, me.
After 133 days, aka just under 4.5 months.
In retrospect of this video's timeline, 4.5 months doesn't seem nearly that long. But when I'm actively trying to make a video and actively needing footage and actively cannot be... when you're actively trying to get footage for a game and all of a sudden you just can't for 4 months, that's pretty terrible. Contributed a decent amount to my burnout of Apex and my hatred of the video overall. And that 4.5 months without duos thing killed the game for the person I was playing duos with. Or rather, was going to play duos with, because the duos wasn't there anymore. Yay!
Okay, well, let's be real. It's mostly just Fortnite nowadays, but...
It's funny saying this in contrast to the intro when I said there was 4 active battle royales, but no, it really is mostly just Fortnite.
I would say, yeah, it's a great game.
I don't know if I'd agree with that at this point. I mean, I'm definitely burnt out on it, but if someone asked me if they should get into Apex Legends, I'd be like, I don't know. If you feel like you like battle royales, I guess. It'd be a very wishy-washy answer instead of a hard yes nowadays. If someone I was trying to get to know better offered to play Apex Legends, I wouldn't be excited to hear that over a different game that I don't play. But that doesn't necessarily reflect the quality of the game, just more my feelings surrounding the whole situation has altered because of the frustration that I put upon myself. This is fucking awesome. This turned out so goddamn good. I'm allowed to be proud of myself sometimes, and this is one of those moments. This video was a mistake. The end product was good. I'm happy with the way it turned out, and there's nothing necessarily wrong about the video as a completed project. There's nitpicks I have here and there because I'm a perfectionist, and there's unavoidable things, like the fact that it took so long made some information somewhat dicey here and there. But overall, the video itself is good. But there's a part of me that wishes I never started it in the first place. I was not happy making this video. There was a lot of anger and frustration and anxiety that went into making this video, forcing myself, and it really did feel like I was forcing myself to get this thing done. With every video, there's some frustration, and there's some pushing myself through to do things that I don't want to do. Some tedious stuff, some uncomfortable stuff. This video had significantly more than I have experienced before in the negative emotions department. And the only joy I got out of this were high effort things that this stupid video never deserved in the first place. Should I have added those crazy elaborate things to prop up this video I didn't like? Dragging things out for weeks, months, even longer than it already was taking? I don't know. I don't think that is the fundamental issue here. I think the fundamental issue is I should have never started this project. I can't keep doing this. I can't make videos for the sake of having something to upload. Even if it means months or years go by without any activity, I can't make this mistake again. I am hoping I won't make this mistake again. I feel like I've learned a lot about myself, the way that I make art in general, and my relationship to YouTube through making this video, and also just with time, as so much time has passed since I started making YouTube videos. And one thing is very clear to me. Things can't keep going like they have been going. It's time for a change.